Clinical here in qualifying. We expect nothing less from this man. His lead lines are absolutely flawless. What can Korpulinski do as he stares down the visor and he looks and he flicks the car in big aggressive flick to angle on initiation as Korpulinski now opens up the throttle, fires the car through, and it's very aggressive from Korpulinski as he puts the back bumper towards the wall once again. He's come out here this weekend absolutely swinging as a Polishman. He wants this one, he wants a podium here in Poland. And what can he do as he flicks it towards outside zone 6? He's there nice and early as he opens up the throttle. Korpulinski on an absolute flyer as he lets it go, puts a bumper towards the wall and across the line. Polishman, Jakub Kroll, top qualifying.
Yeah.
What can he do as he comes off the line? He's brought a little aggression this weekend and he's going to bring it right now as he flicks that 2JZ S14 from left to right and into that first outside zone. Looks to pick up that front zone and he does on full throttle already, no messing around as Korpulinski gets it up close and personal to the wall. This is absolutely brilliant from Korpulinski so far. Clinical, as we like to say, from the surgeon as he puts it to outside zone 5, flicks it across, a little dab of the handbrake, sets himself up beautifully for outside zone 6 as Korpulinski sets the throttle on fire, puts it right through the floor as he touches the wall across the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in. Korpulinski is back. He pulled out a little bit of style again. He kind of went back to his roots.
Look at this heavy breathing for Pawel Korpulinski. He knows he's in the fight for third in the championship. This could be the weekend that it happens as he comes off the line. A big clutch kick once again as he slams through the gears in that 2JZ powered Nissan Silvia S14. Nice initiation. Halovnia onto the rear wheel, no messing around. And the surgeon gets into that first outside zone. Now starts to pick up the pace as he puts the front bumper towards the wall. Halovnia though almost makes contact with the wall as he has to back out, but now backs back into it again as he puts the front wheel to front wheel. No messing around from the Ukrainian. He gets into the fight once again as Halovnia goes for the door and makes a mistake and almost puts the car into the wall. As you can see, Korpulinski tagging the wall, putting the tailgate up in the air and across the line.
Well, there's a few scratches on that car now.
That S14 as they creep off the line, and here we go, it's go time. Both slam through the gears as Alexei Halovnia from the Ukraine leads in. Pawel Korpulinski, nice initiation, has to back out of it for a slight second though, and now works his way into it onto the door of that GT86 as they fire through that inner zone, back again once again as they get into outside zone 4. Pawel Korpulinski deeper into the zone than Alexei Halovnia as they fire through the middle of the circuit, right to the edge of outside zone 5, snap back across on the angle into outside zone 6, dials on big angle does Halovnia, and will he make outside zone 7? He does, but he slows down, it allows Korpulinski on the door.
Yeah, so that was interesting. Now,
Falvey said at the beginning of the season the only thing he missed in 2024 was a podium. He would love nothing more than to podium here, but Korpulinski needs to win to keep that third place in the championship alive. Here we go, they fire in. It's a nice initiation from Korpulinski. We don't expect anything else from the surgeon, but that opens the door for Falvey. Looks like they've wound him up in the pits. The aggression from the young Irishman is now starting to shine through as he goes for it. He needs to claim back some of that lost proximity, and he does. He shallows up the angle, gets onto the front wheel, but then he loses ground as Korpulinski fires through the centre of the circuit. That carbon Kevlar S15 is back in the mix once again. He's onto the door as Korpulinski dials on the angle for the final outside zone across the line.
I'm so happy that Falvey added that aggression back in. It took a few sections of the track before he really got into it. And
now starts to creep off the line. It's going to be Falvey to lead out Korpulinski. Falvey's up and gone. No messing around. He wants to get this one done and in the bag. The final Polishman left in competition. Korpulinski, can he keep the dream alive? As Falvey fires in, now Korpulinski starts to rein in the young Irishman. They fire through that inner zone. It's beautiful from Conor Falvey as he puts it into outside zone 4. But look at Korpulinski, the aggression as he dives onto the door, straight onto the front wheel. No messing around from the Polishman. They come through the centre of the circuit. Korpulinski almost overtakes Falvey as he gets a transition done into outside zone 6 and then full throttle, no messing around as Korpulinski once again makes a dive onto the door.
Wow, that is putting an exclamation mark on that run from Korpulinski. And
will the Polish route shine through, or will the true Polishman, the hometown hero from Warsaw, reign supreme as they come off the line? It is Pawel Korpulinski to lead them out. They both go for an aggressive initiation. Korpulinski straight into it, and he knows that LZ's fast. He's turned that car up to 100 right now. They fire through the middle of the circuit. Look at Korpulinski bathing smoke from the back of that car as they get into outside zone 4. LZ tries to hang with him. He tries to dial on the angle, flicks into more angle, and it's a mistake from LZ as he has to shortcut through the centre of the circuit. Korpulinski gets into outside zone 6, but he keeps it off the wall. It's clean, it's surgical from the surgeon as he puts it across the line. Or would you know that this means more than to hold off, and they go for it, they creep off the line. LZ to lead out Pawel Korpulinski for a spot in the final four, awaits for one of these drivers. They fire into that first outside zone. LZ into the wall, takes the back end off the car, and a groan from the judges erupts as he disposes of the back end of that car on inside zone 3. Korpulinski does hold back, now starts to rein him in. He knows that LZ's made a few mistakes, he can see the errors creeping in, and Korpulinski's just going to stamp an all 40 on it right at the end of the run. They get into outside zone 6, there's a tag on the wall from LZ, and Korpulinski holds back once again as he jumps onto the back bumper across the line. Shot to be in the final. The anti-lag pops and bangs from the back of the GR86 as they come off the line. This is it, a spot in the final awaits. Will it be Poland? Will it be Japan? They flick the cars from left to right and in to outside zone 1. Nakamura shallows off the angle, gets himself into the wall but deals with it as Korpulinski once again clean. The surgeon puts on a clinic out front and opens the door for Nakamura, and he certainly does open the door as Nakamura takes a step in, he takes a step out and then back in again as Nakamura plays with Korpulinski. The grip in that car is phenomenal as Korpulinski dials on the angle, tries to shake the Japanese driver, but there's no losing Nakamura. He's going to try and do. They sit on the line, the cars come off the line and through the gears. Nakamura will lead out Pawel Korpulinski as they fire into the initiation. Korpulinski goes earlier than Nakamura and uses that to fire the car up into the door of that GR86 as they come through that inner zone. Korpulinski takes the bumper off on the wall. Korpulinski's not messing around as he drags it around the circuit. He now tries to get closer to Nakamura as they fire through. Korpulinski is not messing around. He wants this more than ever. A shot for the final awaits for Korpulinski, but look at Nakamura as he flicks it to angle.
That last 5% that Korpulinski gear and another way to drive this car and doing things that we would never expect. And the question becomes, does he do it again? Does he push harder? Or does he fall back to the precision that he knows so well?
There we go. They're off the line, we're about to find out as Pawel Korpulinski flicks the car across the circuit. Look at that, Nakamura straight line initiation, dives straight in, dips the car down, now works his way into the door and on to the rear bumper. Pawel Korpulinski's S14. Korpulinski seems to have turned that car up, more grip than before, and it looks like Nakamura now struggling to keep up, but he does make some dives in outside zone 4. He's going to make a dive here across the circuit, and he does. As they get into outside zone 6, Korpulinski goes for it, absolutely flying, and once again Nakamura loses ground across the line. Start line marshal and now Japanese driver. Here we go, off the line though, no messing around. Nakamura bangs through the gears. Look at the aggression already from both guys. As Korpulinski fires in, he's on the inside of the circuit. He needs to regain some lost ground in outside zone 1 as they flick through. Play dangerous game as they squeeze those cars alongside the wall into this long outside zone 4, door to door, wheel to wheel, as Nakamura flicks the car to angle, looking for outside zone 5. Korpulinski hunting him down on the handbrake, getting that car set up for outside zone 6 as they now go wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper. There's no messing around as Nakamura flicks it to the wall.
Attendance right now, this place will erupt the moment these lights go off for the final set of runs in 2025.
Well, here we go. They're off the line and through the gears. It's going to be Korpulinski to lead out Shanahan for a spot on the top step of the podium, and they get into it straight away. No messing around as Shanahan fires his GT86 onto the door of Pawel Korpulinski. Brave transitions from the Irishman as the Polishman puts the bumper to the wall and leads them around the outside zone. They look for 5, they transition for 6. Shanahan goes for it. He's not messing around. He wants to get the job done right here, right now, as he goes for it once again. Both onto the wall and across the winner of round 7. Pawel Korpulinski creeps off the line. They slam through the gears. Shanahan to lead out Korpulinski for the final time in 2025. They hammer into that first outside zone. They both take a shallow line. They both want to drive away from each other. Korpulinski's on the door. They go bumper to bumper on the transitions. Korpulinski tucks up into formation on outside zone. He dials more angle on it than Shanahan does in outside zone 4. They fly through outside zone 5, and once again the transition makes no sense as Shanahan goes for it. Look at Korpulinski on the front wheel. He wants this more than ever as Korpulinski climbs the front wheel of Shanahan's 86 across the line. Shanahan is in the lead and the chase. It's time for him to lead them out. This is it. This is for the final of Drift Masters, Red Bull Drift Masters finale here in Poland. They fire in as Korpulinski leads them through. Shanahan onto the door already. Korpulinski turns the heat up to 11, goes close to the wall, hoping that Shanahan can't make it through, but he does, and Shanahan dials in the angle. Korpulinski Korpulinski makes an error, wobbles away from the wall, and that's the first chink in the armour we've seen from the Polishman as he fires in to outside zone 6. Shanahan's with him. They both wobble once again as Shanahan fires through the smoke, looks for Korpulinski, but he's out of the outside zone. Korpulinski not looking as good as he did.
What do you do in this moment?
You go for it. That's what you do, and you go for it right now. You come off the line. Everybody here in Poland is on their feet. They're ready for it. They're excited for it as Shanahan fires in that GTA 6 into that first outside zone. Korpulinski goes for it. Dials on the angle, almost goes backwards into that first outside zone. They come through inside zone 3. Back onto it once again. Korpulinski can't shake Shanahan. They're on it door to door. Shanahan goes nice and deep into outside zone 4, but he now tries to drive away from the Polishman, but he can't seem to as he checks up going into outside zone 6. A tag on the door from Korpulinski. They go wheel to wheel. Korpulinski try not to make contact, and they shadow up the angle across the line.
This is one of those situations where both drivers know they have to be absolutely perfect. There's some uncertainty on